Chris and Bridget have a lot going on. They've got money issues.
Our mortgage money was being spent on shopping.
Discipline issues.
He thinks I'm easier on my kids than I am on his.
And communication problems.
I don't think we could survive together in a relationship if it got as bad as it was.
Let's uncover it all in the play-by-play.
One of the biggest issues we have was money. The money was an issue. But it's not so much having it or not having it, it's how we're spending it.
Okay, so here's where we start, and they're both pretty stiff. You can tell that this is very uncomfortable for them. And what's interesting is how many times Chris blushes. He's a big blusher. And blushing doesn't always mean that you're insecure, but it often does. I don't think Chris is as secure in himself as he could be.
She'll spend money on the internet and she'll use an account that doesn't have, you know, the funds in it to cover. She will lie to me to cover her little mistakes, which are easily fixable at the time.
With Bridget, when she's done something wrong, she sort of becomes that child again, and she cowers and tries to hide it under the rug and hopes that she can get away with it, but kind of knows she won't. And that's what's creating so much of the problem between them, because he can't trust her if she's not going to tell him the truth. Is it that she's sneaking the spending? Does it feel like a compulsion?
Oh, absolutely.
Addiction creates a bomb in your life and your relationship, and there's a lot to clean up. And that's what Bridget's dealing with now. She's not only dealing with trying to recover from her addiction, but she's trying to clean up all the shrapnel this bomb left behind. Have you sought any therapy or treatment or intervention for this?
No. I've been working on it on my own.
I think she's found some other outlets in her shopping habits.
Eating.
She does admit that she's replaced some of her shopping addiction with food. And what she's doing is trying to use the food now to soothe and to fill that empty void that the shopping was filling before. Addiction sort of behaves like a whack-a-mole. You hit it down and then it pops up somewhere else. It's all about finding healthy ways to fill the void and to heal the wounds that put them there in the first place. Is this the only place that you guys struggle?
We fight about the kids a lot. I expect the kids to respect adults. And he just has no follow-through with that.
I think I'm more laid back because, I mean, I had no supervision. That's the opposite of Bridget when growing up.
We unconsciously learn how to parent from how we were parented. And this is pretty obvious in the case of Bridget and Chris. She grew up in an overly restrictive, overly punishing environment. He grew up with no boundaries at all. They are on completely opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to discipline. So they're going to have their work cut out for them coming to a happy medium. And especially for Chris, he equates punishment with lack of love.
It's going to be my kids breaking all the rules. I feel like I should protect them doing it. They're always in trouble.
When in reality, it's the opposite. That if you love your children, you will create consequences. You've got to find a place in the middle where you're letting go of some of the discipline and you're ramping it up a little, Chris, and you guys can agree on what the rules are. There are few things more toxic for a family than two parents who aren't on the same page about discipline in front of their children. Because if your children even smell that you're not on the same page, they know that they can get away with things, and then they start to feel unsafe. All right, we got a plan?
Got a plan.
Hopefully, Chris and Bridget will get the help they need and stop these negative patterns. Now, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
To see more Couples in Crisis, subscribe or watch another episode right now. And don't forget to watch Recipe Rehab, where our chefs compete to take your recipes from fat to fab.